Hey, what's up guys? It's Ariana. Today we're going to do a couple alterations to a top that I thrifted a little while back. This is going to be a series on my channel where I show you how to do some quick and mostly simple fixes to your clothes so that they fit and flatter you, and so that you have a closet full of clothes that you love and that you actually wear. I know I'm not the only one that's got pieces of clothing in your closet that you love, but it just kind of fits awkwardly. Something about it's just not quite right, and instead of donating it, instead of getting rid of it altogether, I want to show you how you can take it and fix it up to something that does flatter you, that you do feel confident in and love to wear. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, definitely keep on watching and subscribe so that you can see more episodes in this series, as well as other thrifting related content and upcycling and DIYs. And definitely follow me over on Instagram as well at The Recreative to see how I style the things I thrift and upcycle. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So this is the top that I thrifted that we're working with. It's a super cute and summery yellow linen top, 100% linen, which is awesome. I love that it has a V neckline and these shell buttons down the front and this adorable eyelet trim. I feel like everything about this top is very on trend right now. However, I didn't love it as much as I thought whenever I put it on, just because I feel like it would be better cropped. Since it is a little bit more of a boxy fit, I feel like adding a crop is a little bit more flattering on me. And the other thing that's a little bit awkward is kind of the sleeve length. I feel like whenever it goes a little bit too far past my elbows, I find myself always wanting to kind of fold it or scrunch it up. Personally, I just like how that looks better on me. And then, while I love the V-neck, I think it's a little bit too high. So I think I want to bring that down just a little bit as well. So the best thing to do when you're trying to fit a piece of clothing to you is, of course, wear it. Put on that item of clothing, grab some pins so you can mark exactly where you want to cut things off or make your changes. I'm going to start by marking off where I want to crop it and make it shorter. And I'm already wearing high-waisted jeans, so that'll help me know where the end of the crop will go and so that I'm comfortable with how long it is. So I think for this one, there's one last button here. I think I want to crop it to right above that. So I'm just going to fold it under so that I can kind of see how that looks. You don't have to pin it all the way around whenever you have it on, because you can measure it on the table once you take it off. So I think I'm comfortable with that length. And then of course I'm also going to keep the trim. I'll take it off and then reattach it back after I cut it. So that'll kind of give it a little bit more length as well. And then to shorten the sleeves, I also will fold it up to where I want it to land. So I think to about there. I want the fabric to be right at my elbow, and then the little trim will add an additional ½ inch or so. So I think I'm happy with that. I'm just gonna put a little pin to mark it. And again, you can accurately measure it once you put it on the table, and then transfer that same amount to the other sleeve so that you don't have to try to guess how much to fold that one. And last thing is the neckline. I think if I unbutton that, I'm gonna fold it a little bit under so that I can kind of see how it would look. Yeah, I think that's perfect. I can just kind of top stitch it so that it stays. Now with this one, I definitely want to pin it after I lay it flat to how I want it. You don't have to be perfect here either. You can, of course, once you lay it flat, it'll be a little easier to make it nice and straight, but at least you'll get the idea. Now we can go ahead and take it off and take it over to the sewing machine. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do before we actually cut it is to seam rip off the trim, because I wanna be able to use that. And if you wanna do it quicker, you could just like cut off the trim, but I wanna be able to have as much of that left. So I'm just gonna go ahead and seam rip it off of the bottom as well as the sleeves.
One eternity later.
Cool, so now that we got all of the trim taken off, it's time to crop the bottom hem. So I just laid it flat, made sure that it was straight, and took my ruler and drew a straight line with some chalk right above that last button. After that, the next thing is to shorten the sleeves. And I just took my ruler and measured about how much I was taking off, and it ended up being about 3 inches. So I just marked that, drew a straight line, and cut that off. And the great thing is you can use this piece of the sleeve to use as a template for the other sleeve. So you don't have to do any extra measuring. Alright, and then you should end up with something like this. And the next thing I'm going to do before I attach the trim is actually top stitch down this new neckline. And now we're just going to reattach the trim back onto the hem. And of course you want to do this by placing the trim onto the self fabric right sides together. Now if you have a top like mine that's got a buttonhole placket slash facing on there, what you're going to want to do is open up the facing like so and place the trim right sides together. And you're actually going to sandwich it between the facing. So once you place it on there, then you bring that facing up and over, and that's where you're going to sew the stitch across the entire hem. In addition to that, I also did a zigzag stitch along the very edge just to kind of prevent some extra fraying since I don't have a serger. So this was what you're going to end up with, and all you have to do is just turn that right side out so that the facing is in the inside again, and you'll be left with this nice clean edge. Now the last thing to do is just put the trim back onto the sleeves. And when I seam ripped these off, I actually kept them in the loops. So there's one less step that I need to do. So I'm just gonna turn that so that it's right sides facing the sleeve. And I'm just gonna line up that seam to the seam on the sleeve as well. So I stitched that down as well as did the zigzag stitch again. And this is how the sleeve turned out. Just repeat that on the other sleeve and we are done. So here is the final product. I feel like this top is so much more flattering now, and I'm definitely going to get a lot of wear out of it this summer. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it inspired you to fix up an item that you already own. Don't forget to subscribe for more episodes of this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.